might have got a bit meaty and slow.
I don't put things there.
Don't say that. No.
At various times, you look at it and there was possible moves on the cards, and
if another club had come and offered us not much more than we'd paid Walsall to take him, I think the club probably would have been in a position to say, thanks very much, Troy, it's not really worked, good luck somewhere else.
You can offer advice, you can give, push, you can pull, you can do whatever you want to do, but eventually the player has to take ownership.
He owes the club and the club owe him, both for looking after each other over the years.
Once he gets his teeth into something, he knows what he wants and he knows how to get it. That's the thing with Troy. So, like, I was a little bit worried at first that it might go to his head, and it was a bit of a celebrity around the area that we lived in Chelmsford. Obviously, he was Troy signed for Watford and everybody knew him. And I was just a little bit worried, but he's got some really good friends around him, Troy has. He's got some really good friends, especially Dyche, obviously his best mate. He's got a lot of family, so everybody was like giving him a bit of advice, be good, don't go to the pub.
When he used to come in the morning, he used to come round where we were and sit on top of the fridge, didn't he? And have a chat as if it's in your kitchen at home.
Yeah.
And sit there either drinking his tea, having something to eat, and have a little chin wag about, home, children, or whatever was, current at the time. And that was nice, it was just natural, and having a chat with us, in the background where nobody knows, but that's the real Troy.
I kept saying the world's your oyster, just focus really. And I think once the signing happened and once he got his debut, I think his debut was against Norwich, I believe, he had to drive all the way up to Norwich, and once he got his debut there, I think like the adrenaline was going, and there's like pictures that you see of him at Watford when he first started, and he's like on the training ground or on the pitch and they're warming up, and you can see him like staring at other players as if like quite in awe of them really, because he knew that that's where he wants to be. And then I think Danny took him under his wing. I do remember him saying, like, I can't believe like what's in my account, because I think he'd gone from something like £150 a week at Walsall, and they used to pay him, I know initially it was £50 a week, and they used to pay his train pass. I don't remember the story about him going to the cash point, but I do believe it.
He chats a lot more, I must say. The more we've got to know him, the more he chats to us about home life, personal things, personal life, family. Family's very important in his mum. Know a lot about his mum, don't we?
He's bought me a house. He won't see any of us struggle. He bought another house, my old house, and his brother lives in that now as well. Looks after us, obviously. But generous, new car. He just wants us to enjoy what he's got, I think, as well. So, yeah, he's very generous. He looks after all of us. We've been on holidays. He took me to Disney. I always said when they were little, because there was the three of them at the time, and I used to say to them, when I win the lottery, if I ever win the lottery, we'll go straight to Florida and I'll take you to Disneyland. And when he took me, I cried. I was like, couldn't believe I was there.
He adores his family, loves his family, his dogs, his mum, his nan. Often says that I'm as old as his nan, which cheeky. Yeah, he's become a bit more cheekier because he knows what he can get away with and what he can't. But he hasn't changed. Troy's Troy.
He's so close with his brothers, sisters, or sister, should I say, aunts and uncles. Still comes and visits his nan. Talks a lot. He loves my mum, so he still visits his nan. Still keeps in touch with all his cousins. If he does get a call, and it'll be, I don't know, it might be just something silly, like when he swore on TV. He never does that, Troy. He's usually quite composed, isn't he? So straight away he apologised to his nan. My mum phoned me. She said, "Have you seen what just happened on TV?" Oh no. So yeah, she said he apologised, so that's all right. He doesn't normally swear, so it's okay.
He had a lot of ambition. I liked his family ethic, the way he looked after his mum. I like that. And there was a lot of traits between Troy as a young player and me as a young player. The difference was he was playing at a higher level than I did when I was his age. I went in at the bottom level after I left Villa, but you could never imagine that he would do what he's done. And when he looks back, he'll smile like I do when I look back over my career. If you make the best of yourself, you can be proud. And he's continued to look after his family, which I like.
He adores his children, absolutely adores them, and as a dad, he's great. They'll never want for anything. Never want for anything. I think the only thing sometimes with Troy struggles with is time, and the time is taken up because he's working. But like he says, if he can't work, he can't provide, and that's his, you know. But as a dad, he's great. He's fun, you know. He goes out, he plays football with them, he takes them out for the day. Holidays are important to him as well. Like, you know, time with the children are really important to Troy.
I think being a dad has changed him.
Having a new baby as well.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know him. Well, I didn't speak to him when he had his son and daughter, but since he's had the little boy, he talks a lot about his children now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But
so he's grown up in that sense.
Yeah.
Responsibilities.
So I had 2 jobs. I used to have 2 part-time jobs, and then when it came to Christmas, I would do extra work at Christmas so that they didn't go without. It was more for Christmas presents and things like that. So I didn't see it as a sacrifice. It was just something that we did. And we just had really busy lives as well. So like, because of their football training, Ellis used to play football too. Sánchez used to do gymnastics. So we used to have a Friday off, because that was the only day of the week that I didn't have to go anywhere. And that I just refused to work on that night because that was our family night. He asked me to have a look for a house. He said to me, I want to buy you a house. Have a look for one. And I was like, oh, okay. So whereabouts can I go? And so he gave me a price limit, and he said, that's your price limit. So just have a look for something that you like. So I was like, okay. So yeah, I didn't think it was going to go through, but it did. We got the keys, and he brought me up to the house, and he carried me across the threshold. Yeah, he did. I think that was like a real crowning moment for Troy as well, because he was able to, I think he sees it as being able to give me something back, which he didn't need to do.
So a friend of mine, he has been a Watford fan all his life, and unfortunately he had a bad accident a few years ago where he lost to have his leg amputated. So it changed where he sat coming to watch the game, and he was a huge Troy Deeney fan, and so he came and he used to watch it in the disabled part of the stadium, so it didn't stop him coming, I must say. And he was quite poorly, and Troy did him a video message.
Hi Tom, look who I'm with.
Hi Tom.
Heard you've been a bit down in the dumps lately, mate. Keep going, keep working hard, and hopefully everything will take an upside soon. More importantly, I'm going to send you a signed shirt, because this is the lovely lady next to me, so look after yourself.
Tom was just so proud of this shirt. He would wear it, you know, it was signed by Troy. Absolutely loved it. He felt, you know, really honoured to be wearing it, but unfortunately he died not long ago.
A friend of ours works for the trust, and they knew somebody. All the kids at Leavesden Green Primary School were leaving to go to secondary school, but because of lockdown, obviously they couldn't have their normal end of year parties and get together. So Troy, amongst a couple of the players, but they all sent them a little message for us. We just, as they came into the canteen.
Leavesden Green, all the year 6s, all the best. I know you're soon to be leaving school, so enjoy all of this boring time you've got now, because there's nothing to do, is there? So all the best, see you soon.
Hi guys, this is Aurelio Gomez. Good luck to the year 6 at Leavesden Green. Yeah, all the best to you, yeah, all the best.
For kiddies, that just means the captain of Watford sending a personal message to them is just amazing. They were absolutely bowled over by it. So, you
Yeah.
know, little things like that, they might not think it's a big deal, but to people in times of stress and worry, illness or transition, it's a great gesture.
It is quite generous with his time, I must say, and he's very generous with giving signed shirts and, you know.
We could do with a couple of designer handbags, Troy, if you're listening.
Yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't mind a couple of handbags, do we?
Yeah, or a watch.
Yeah, we're not fussy.
Yeah.
On the pitch, he's a tough guy, you know. Don't want to play against him because he all the time going 400% every challenge off the pitch. He looks like tough guy, but I think he's a good guy, you know. And how I said, he wants to looking after the players on the pitch and off the pitch.
I think he's done better than I thought he would. But not necessarily a surprise because it's all, his desire is everything in his game. He's not one that's going to, you know, beat three players and put the ball in the top corner. His game is based on the basics and he does them very, very well. But I think what you also get from Troy is his leadership qualities. Even before he was the captain, his leadership qualities, I can imagine that the dressing room would be tight, and that's the most important part of a football club, is having the dressing room tight so that when things are not going right on the pitch, you're all pulling in the same direction for each other.
And we carry on with the second goal.
He make some speech before the game, sometimes during the game, sometimes in half time. I don't stop him because it's players respect him a lot.
Strong character, strong character, but at the same time very positive and thinking always the collective objective and trying to try the best of all the teammates and try to take the best of all the team.
Yeah, I think he's grown as a person. I know him a little bit, you know, personally as well. As a player, outstanding what he's done. And as a person, I think the two were quite closely connected. I think as he matured as a person, no surprise to me his professionalism matured, no surprise to me his football matured. And I think he's got a nice package going on now.
I saw potential in a young centre forward in the division, and right the way through, you know, to the end, I still thought he'll end up being Watford's centre forward. Did I think that he would go on to do what he's doing right now and be captain and have the record he's got and the goals he's got? You can never tell. I'm so proud of him, to be honest with you. Honest to God, I'm so proud of him, that especially after the you know, it's a tough time, and obviously had these problems, you know, in terms of getting into prison.
He's a better player than the player I signed, without a doubt. He's much better with his back to goal than I thought he was back at that time. He also picks and chooses when to make his runs, which comes with experience and comes with age. His finishing is better than it was, and I think other than that, I still see the Troy Deeney from Swindon, you know, very big, very strong. I mean, he's not the tallest guy, Troy, but he's big. You know, he's got strength, he's got power, and he has a big, big heart when he plays.
I think they've moulded him into a lovely, lovely young man. Really do. I think because it's such a family-orientated club as well. I think Watford's been the best thing for Troy. I really do. I think if he's done well, he's worked hard, and they've repaid him and rewarded him by making him captain and letting him lead their team. And I mean, he's great with the fans. I think majority of the fans love him anyway. Yeah, I know I do, so.
At the end of year one, so summer of 2011 is the time that I left. I think if another club had come and offered us not much more than we'd paid Walsall to take him, I think the club probably would have been in a position to say, thanks very much, Troy, it's not really worked, good luck somewhere else. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic story for him and for the club as a whole, and for the guys, the scouts and people responsible for bringing him to the club. John Stevenson and his team of scouts that had seen that potential in the player, that made him into a genuine Watford legend. Really, I know it's an expression that's too often used when describing players, but it certainly applies to Troy.
I know that there's been quite a few times that other clubs have been interested in him. I know that there was a sell-on clause that Walsall had, which maybe have scuppered a deal or two along the way, and that would have made Troy really frustrated. But in saying that, he's knuckled down, and the manager, whoever was at Watford at that particular time, knowing the interest, getting to know Troy, you have to knuckle down and get the best out of your ability at the end of the day. And whatever club's paying you the money, you have to deliver for them.
I was managed a lot of players like Villa, La Pipilla, Morientes, Forlán, Cunagüero, Nuno Gomez, I don't know, a lot of Batistao, Gerard, many good players, Gallo, but I think he's really specific player because he can do many things.
Okay, it's different. All the players is different. Some similarity he can find it with GB Floyd Hassenberg, especially for the power, for determination front of the goal. And if I find some guy can be this kind of the players.
If I have to, compare him to somebody, I would probably compare him to Pierluigi Casiraghi, that I play with him in Italy in the national team and in Chelsea, because he was so good at scoring, good with the hand, complete player, but also good in link-up play as well, and a very similar player in that sense. Players that they score, but also they make score also the others. I think the numbers are quite clear. He scored 47 goals in the Premier League, and he gave 20 assists. So they are important numbers. So it shows the qualities of this player.
Oh, fantastic. When you think he was raw and he'd come out of Walsall and he had a few rough edges and we had to mould him between a lot of different staff members, but I always say the maximum credit goes to the player. You can offer advice, you can push, you can pull, you can do whatever you want to do, but eventually the player has to take ownership, and he's certainly taken ownership of his career and marvel at it from a distance. I had a part of it, but I marvel at what he's done for a distance and for the club. I mean, he's been a fantastic servant, and I can only wish him well.
I think with everything that he's experienced through that 10 years, I think it's a nice partnership, because he owes the club and the club owe him, both for looking after each other over the years. And for him to do it, I'm jealous. I only made, I think, 8 seasons, 7 years. I just think it's great. It's great that Watford have got a number 9 that they love.
At various times, you look at it and there was possible moves on the cards, and what that figure must have been at some point. When you think about it, there was touted 50 million at one point. So that wasn't a bad return on 250 grand to start with for us. But what he's been valued by the club and for the people around about the club speaks volumes for Watford Football Club as a whole, and also speaks volumes for Troy as a man and a husband and a father, and a guy that's actually, I think, eked every last drop out of the sponge of his career.
Troy is Watford and Watford is Troy, It's the best way to explain this player and the club as well.
I go and watch the games, and Troy is Troy is Watford Football Club. The fans love him.
He's grown off the pitch as a human being, And technically, you know, he's grown as a footballer. It's a great achievement. It's something that, you know, should be rewarded and admired. And I know it is. I know all the fans out there love what Troy gives to the club, the desire he shows, and the contribution he's made to the success over that last decade.
I think he's been wonderful for Watford, I really do. And I used to work near London, so there used to be quite a few Watford fans where I used to work. And they, obviously, because they were talking to me, they never had anything bad to say about him. But I know a lot of them. As a captain, I think he's led the team well. I think 5 years they've been in the Premier League. Watford have never done that before, and Troy's captained them for that long.
He always take the best of the players around him. You know, he can play better or worse. He always try to keep, in my opinion, a good level. But the players that play around him always play better with him than without him.
You know, he just fits at Watford, and they fit for him because the club overall stood by him during the periods where they could have decided not to, and the fans stood by him because the fans could have turned as well, and the fans could have decided that that's not for them either, and the fans stood by him. And I think then you get a genuine admiration for each other, and adulation by them, but an admiration for each other that's growing and growing.
Troy is going to be a legend in that club. He's already a legend in the club, you know, for a player to spend 10 years. We're not talking of 10 days. We're not talking of 10 months. We're talking of 10 years of your life in one particular club. It's only legends that can do that. You understand? It's only legends that can do that, you know. Somebody that carry the clubs in the heart, fight for the club, good or bad, come rain, come sun, come snow, he's fighting and all that, you know. I think he's a legend. He's a legend. I don't want to say he's going to be a legend. He's a legend there in Watford. The fans adore him. The fans love him.
He's the best. Yeah. Who's gone on? Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Everything about him, you know. It's just I can't speak highly enough of him, to be honest. You know, on the pitch, you know.
I really am surprised because he never had the opportunity for play for national team, because in one moment I believe with this power, with this character, he will find it more opportunity for defend the colors of the country, but he didn't have this opportunity.
It shows how attached Troy is to Watford, to the cause, and I think you know, it's not easy nowadays to see a player staying so long for playing for the same club. But I think it's a good combination. I think both club and the player, they've been very good to each other.
This period when everything changed a lot, when the coaches, when the players, they change a lot of clubs and everything. I think it's a big reference for the clubs. It's very lucky for the club when they can permit one player to stay for 10 years, because it's the way you can transmit values. You can transmit on the way you want to grow and the way you want to keep up a team with values and everything. So 10 years is like to say, Deeney, congratulations. You deserve more. Try to fight for the rest of your career.
To be a decade in a club is something special. It's something I think if I thought in my beginning. I would like to be in one club one decade, but it's something, it doesn't happen. I think it's something amazing. Yeah.
You guys don't do it for the money, you do it for love. But just give us an example of what you would be getting for going to what somebody like Troy.
At Watford, not a lot, but John was very generous to me. I think I used to get 25 pence a mile and £30 for doing my report. Yeah, I think that was about it. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't for the money. Yeah, that's a certain fact. Yeah.
I've acted for over 100 clients, maybe a lot more than that over the last 20 years. And I come down to 2 clients that I look at and I think, steel and determination are way above any other. And one of them is a guy called Brian Lara, and the other one is Troy Deeney. And I always remember both of them at various points. Lara used to tell me when he was going to get a century before the match, and he always got a century. And Troy tells me when he's going to score goals, and apart from one occasion, which I won't mention, he always scores goals. He has this strength and determination to make sure what he says is going to happen, happens. And when you've got that sort of ability at the high level, it literally is gold dust. No one can touch you. And that's the strength Deeney has.
I listen to him on the TV, I hear him on the radio, I even hear him interviewed on breakfast television. And I have to say I'm immensely proud of him. And as one of my top signings, well, there are no numbers on my CV except a deficit of 350 grand for Troy Deeney. But you know what? Probably the best signing I ever made.
Troy Deeney, their talisman. Historic corner